An 8-year-old troublemaker must protect his house from a pair of burglars when he is accidentally left home alone by his family during Christmas vacation.
This is Ryan.
And this is Ashley.
And this is
Ruining Our Childhood.
The Bonisode.
That is true.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. It's December. And can you believe we made it
It's impressive.
December 2020?
Because March 2020 seems 17 years ago.
It was.
Yeah.
You should see my face. I look 87.
We all aged a lot this year.
Obviously, we just mentioned Bonisode for December. Of course, we're celebrating Christmas holidays, and we couldn't do a holiday Bonisode without including Home Alone.
Yes.
So, let's get to it.
Let's do it. I want to go ahead and point out that Ashley always says Home Alone 2, some would say the better Home Alone, but Instagram disagreed with you.
That's true.
65% prefer Home Alone to Home Alone 2. Some would say the better Home Alone.
Would they?
I would.
Okay.
So.
Well, that's fine, guys. You know, you're entitled to your opinion, and maybe you're just thinking, obviously, Home Alone 2 would be nowhere without Home Alone. So I guess I get that.
Okay. I guess. This movie was released on November 10th of 1990 in Chicago. It had a budget of $18 million. That's where it premiered, was in Chicago.
Okay. The way he said it, it made it sound like it was only in Chicago. How did the rest of us get to see this movie?
It was in Chicago for 6 days before it had its United States released on November 16th.
I did not know that.
I did not either. It had a budget of $18 million, and it grossed $477.1 million.
Yeah.
Movie stars Macaulay Culkin as Kevin McAllister, Joe Pesci as Harry, Daniel Stern as Marv, John Hurd as Peter McAllister, and Catherine O'Hara as Kate McAllister.
Yeah. Who, in this year, people are like, Catherine O'Hara is...
When I saw the
Moira.
Yeah, the tweet that said I was this many days old when I figured out that Moira is Kevin McAllister's mom, I wanted to go to wherever that location was where that tweet came from and punch that person in the face.
It's probably like some 16-year-old that just watched Home Alone like for the first time in 10 years, and I don't know.
God.
I don't know. People are silly.
Youths.
And people that don't have like this weird brain scan that we have where we're like, I know that person from 28 movies. Let me list them all.
Or you're the type, if we're watching a movie and someone looks familiar to you, you'll take out your phone and figure out where they're from. And it could be a movie we saw 30 years ago. And you're like, that's who it is.
Yeah. I have to know. My brain will not let me enjoy the movie unless I know.
And the best part is, I don't even look it up. I'll just say, where's that guy from? And you're just immediately getting out your phone to look it up for me. So.
Sometimes I just know.
That's true. There is a lot of times where you're like, oh yeah, he was on Game of Thrones. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
It just seemed like that voice should go with it.
I agree. Why did we pick this movie? And what is your earliest memory from this movie? I should more likely ask.
I know I saw this in theaters, but I don't really have a memory of seeing it in theaters. I have more of a memory of watching it on VHS all the damn time. To the point, I remember the commercials that were before the movie. There was a Pepsi commercial, a Life cereal commercial, and a Fern Gully preview.
I think I remember you saying this maybe on our Christmas episode.
Yeah. Like, that's excessive. But also, like, watching it probably 100 times growing up, and then when it would be on NBC, I would watch it. I would watch this ad nauseum. I don't know how. And it a movie that I would only watch during Christmas time. No, I'd watch this all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're studying the plans. Kevin was your god.
He really was.
I did not see this in theaters that I can remember, but I do think this may have been one of two movies, live action movies, that I owned on VHS that was like geared towards children, or I at least watched as a child. I just remember thinking, literally, not even the part of the movie where he has to defend the house, but the fact that he was living by himself and he could do whatever he wanted. And then I just thought it was so cool that he could go grocery shopping by himself. I just remember watching that as a kid and thinking, that is so cool. Why? I don't know.
Now as an adult, you're like, oh, I'm going to go grocery shopping today.
Oh, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Why do you think this movie resonates with so many people?
I think for people our age, it is the nostalgia of it. Also, when you rewatch it, it's still a crazy entertaining movie.
It is. I mean, we rewatch so many movies from around that time, and it's just so much better than some of the movies that we've watched from the early 90s.
And me and you specifically can pretty much quote the entire movie.
Yeah.
Random
I'm sure
lines.
so many people can.
Yeah, just random lines. You know it off the top of your head. It was a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, too, watching it as an adult is kind of weird because I want to, especially now that I tend to have a hard time separating watching movies for the podcast and watching movies for fun, because I kind of want to poke holes in the plots. But I do feel like, I guess in the grand scheme of things, somebody who's an 8-year-old maybe wouldn't be able to survive that well by himself. But at the same time, it's like easy to suspend your reality because he is pretty quick-witted and smart.
Yeah.
And it's only really a couple days. So
that's a good point. I mean, you know how to make a bowl of cereal when you're a kid. You could do that.
Yeah. And he learns how to do a lot more.
I will say he's doing laundry at a very young age.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do laundry till I was like 12.
That's one of the parts I loved about that movie was, if we want to just move on into like the general discussion plot points. One of the things I love about this movie is that Kevin literally thinks that he made his parents disappear, that somebody granted his wish.
Yeah.
That he wanted no family and he wanted to live by himself. So instead of, the real reason they were so busy, they forgot to double check and make sure he was, on the plane to Paris.
You got to blame Mitch Murphy.
Yeah, Mitch Murphy, and then his oldest cousin.
Yeah.
Who counted his head, but didn't check to see if it was a correct child, Yeah. But I do like how he just accepts his new reality. He lives by himself in this big, huge house, and he just, starts doing things to take care of it. He decorates for Christmas.
I guess that is something I never really thought of, is how quickly he accepts this. I'm wondering when school would have came back. Would he have just went to school? He would have to explain to his teacher why his parents were not coming to parent-teacher conference that year. I
made my parents disappear. They left me this huge, nice house.
Yeah.
And I feel like this movie kind of gave me unrealistic expectation of what adulthood could be like. Mm-hmm. That you would just have this nice big house.
Yep.
And that as long as you, did the laundry every once in a while and, clean the house a little bit, that you could order a cheese pizza back for yourself, or you can have ice cream in the middle of the day, which I totally did when I was a kid.
Same.
Kevin and me, same brain.
I do like, when he realizes that he is home alone and his parents are there, one of the things he opts to do is go jump on his parents' bed while eating popcorn.
Yeah.
Because, when you're a kid, that would be something you would do.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I would have done.
There's so many times when I was a kid, because again, we mentioned before, we were latchkey kids. Our parents worked full time. In the summer, so much unsupervised time in the house. I would literally eat breakfast or ice cream for breakfast.
Oh, man.
So many times. I do, like I showed you how to do that, like Oreo Supreme Sundae.
Yes. Yes.
That was my specialty.
My parents would not. They would just stop buying ice cream for us then. I'd be like, nope. I think it would have happened once and never again.
It's weird because I always felt like I grew up in a house where we didn't always have tons of sweets, either because my parents were like, we're not going to buy it for you, or because it's too expensive. But for some reason, I always got away with eating just enough ice cream, where I don't think they noticed, or they didn't notice enough for them to be like, stop eating all the ice cream, Ashley.
Yeah. Did you do it repeatedly, like almost every day? Would you
Not
do it?
every day.
No.
It would just be like, I mean, we had to have the ingredients too. We didn't always have Oreos. It had to be Neapolitan ice cream, Oreos, and then whipped cream.
When I got a little bit older, I would make Oreo milkshakes, but I would do it at like midnight. So I would take the blender into the garage because I didn't want to wake my parents up by blending, because also our blender was obnoxiously loud.
Right.
Yeah, so I would do that. I remember like one time my dad happened to like get up to like get a cup of water, and I'm just sitting there. It was a large milkshake too. It wasn't just small. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Made a milkshake." He's like, "All right." Just went back to bed.
Like, I'm not going to even address that.
Yeah.
Did you have any plot points you want to talk about?
We've kind of talked about it. I'm like, I want to know what Peter and Kate's jobs are, what Rob's job is, the uncle who lives in Paris who is able to fly his entire extended family.
That's very large.
From Chicago to Paris, and put both of your brothers and their wives in first class.
Yeah.
He's making some bank.
No, logistically, it hurts my brain to even think that somebody could afford to pay for that much airfare, even in 1990.
Because, and then also we watched Home Alone 2. And I said to you, I go, how much money did they have to drop on plane tickets?
To get to New York?
Yeah, because they're in Miami, and then they'd fly from Miami to New York on the drop of a pin.
Yeah.
Like, that had to have been pricey.
Yeah.
But they also have a super nice house. They clearly are doing well.
Yeah.
Driving station wagons, though.
Maybe they're not car people.
That's true. We're not car people.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always kind of not bothered me, but I'm just like, must be nice.
Yeah.
Is my thought process.
As an adult, that's the things I think about. It's not, when I was a kid, I never went, man, what does that guy do for a living? And I want to say it was Kevin Love from the Cavs who tweeted out like all these questions that you have as an adult about Home Alone that you never think about. And I was like, how are they affording this?
Yeah. Like, what are they doing? No, I agree. Another one I want to talk about is something. So obviously in our podcast, we rewatch a lot of movies, and we've come to the conclusion that we're definitely adults now, because we tend to, when rewatching the movie, sympathize more with the adult characters if it's a kid's movie, or the people that are more mature, in if it's like a teen comedy or something like that. But I will say this movie is such an exception in the sense that I still side with Kevin on the way his family treats him.
Agreed.
Because I can see where they think he's a little obnoxious, and he does have an attitude, though I still think he's in the ratio of cuteness and giving attitude. I think he's still cute enough to get away with it at this point. But I don't know how Buzz gets away with so much in that family.
The opening, scene when they're eating pizza.
Yes.
And he just is like, get me a plate. And he acts like he's going to throw up the pizza. And Kevin gets mad, and everyone acts like Buzz did nothing.
Yeah.
To garner that reaction from Kevin.
It's funny to me because I feel like the older siblings, they all call him the baby, and he's the baby. But at no point do I feel like Kate and what's the dad's name? Peter, sorry. I don't remember his name because honestly, he's kind of a shit character.
Peter McAllister.
The father. Yeah. I know. It's a good line. Yeah. Again, from the second movie.
It is from the second one.
But I don't feel like they baby him, or maybe they're trying to do tough love and not baby him anymore. But the way the kids talk about him, it like Kate babies him and he's her favorite or something. And if that was the case, I would think she would have like saved a slice of cheese pizza for him, right? I think having a mom and having been around other moms, they're like, Kevin only likes cheese pizza. Make sure you save him a slice.
I think about when I was a kid and we would go to KFC, my parents would always get me a special order of chicken strips because I did not like fried chicken. Like parents do stuff like that.
Well, first of all, it's just self-preservation, I would think, as the mom being like, I don't want to hear you bitch, so we're going to do this special thing for you so you don't fucking bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, fucking Buzz, man. He just gets away with everything. And that extends to the second movie. Even the whole scenario in the first part of the second movie is even worse and even more. Anything that Kevin does is justified in my mind. Because he was trying to sing a solo.
He should have punched Buzz in the crotch.
Yeah.
In that scene. And the fact that he came home and he had to apologize to his aunts and uncle.
Yeah.
I was like, no, bro, you guys can leave. I'll talk to my parents about what happened.
It's immediate family. There's still like 10 of them in the room, but immediate family. Such a large family.
Such a large family.
Did you have any other points?
No.
You're done?
I'm done.
And that's it, guys. We're done talking.
Well, because I will say one of my points is my funniest best point.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Do it.
We're going to move on to that?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I was growing up, I would fast forward a lot of times just to this part, and that is the entire booby trapping of the house. I believe it is called Operation Ho Ho Ho. It is such a good scene, but when I was a kid, it was to watch oh, look, he burned the guy, or he hit him in the face with paint cans. But as an adult, it is hands down still amazing, and it all has to do with Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci's reactions to everything. And also, I never realized there's only one cuss word in this movie. And it is when Daniel Stern says shit when he drops his shoe in through the dog door.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. So they do all these reactions. They don't curse. It keeps it family friendly. But it's so amazing. Like, Joe Pesci's head's on fire and he dives into the snow. And it just...
I would say more realistically, they would be cussing way more.
Yeah, exactly. But I kind of, as a kid, dreamt of getting to do this to someone. Like, I was hoping someone would break in, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to... We didn't have a laundry chute to drop an iron down.
Yeah.
But I would... Man. And I was always sad because we didn't have a banister to throw paint cans off of. I wanted to do it.
I feel like you should have came to Arizona with your dad to find a house. You're like, this is not... We need a house with a banister.
We're going to need 2 stories.
Laundry chute.
Please. Yes. My parents, in hindsight, should be thankful we didn't have a banister, because I probably would have paint canned my brothers when they upset me one time. Like, when hey, Jason and Danny, come upstairs. Whoosh.
Thinking,
in the face.
Again, another thing about this movie where, especially in the second one, but just the violence that you're like, that guy would have broke his face. That guy would be dead. The bricks.
The second movie, the bricks, I always sit there and go, he'd be dead. He got hit in the face 3 times with bricks.
I do wonder I wish we would have thought about it before, but if there was any increase in like kids trying to booby trap stuff.
Ooh,
from this movie.
Yeah.
Kids love to imitate art.
Kids are outside like trying to turn their driveways into sheets of ice and breaking their parents' hands and stuff because they keep falling.
And they're like, well, Marv and Harry didn't get that hurt.
They fell down a flight of stairs.
My funniest and best moments are pretty much anything with Harry and Marv as well. Just any of their lines, they're really funny. And sometimes there's ones, like, every time we rewatch it, I feel like there's ones that I don't catch them doing, or just the way they say the lines. Also, Macaulay Culkin is a great child actor. Yeah. And just super cute, hilarious, and quick-witted. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, all of the moments are the best moments. But I do think one of my favorites is just when he uses the Angels with Filthy Souls audio to like scare Marv and the pizza guy.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to scare the pizza guy, but he was just trying to be an adult.
Yeah, that's all I can assume was this would be a way to get this kid out of here really quick.
Because I think he's afraid that the kid's going to be like, where's your parents? Even though I think if you handed the guy money, if you opened the door and handed the guy money, he'd be like, okay, cool, bye.
Yeah. He doesn't impress me to be the brightest person.
The pizza guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I could, if it was me, I'd go, last time I was at this house, I delivered 10 pizzas. Now I'm delivering 1.
That's true.
That's odd.
But
Also, went, okay.
Kevin could have easily been like, I got the pizza, Dad. Like he did the same thing he did later in the movie when he was trying to convince Marv and Harry that he wasn't alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't work that time.
No.
But
he's home alone. Which we like anytime they say the name of the movie in the movie, which is something totally from Family Guy.
Yeah.
But whenever we're watching a movie, if they say it, we'll look at each other like, he said it.
He said the film name.
It'd be impressive if they could figure out a way to incorporate the film name of a sequel. Like, he's home alone too. How you do it?
Did they say Lost in New York? I don't think they ever said, like...
I don't think they did.
I feel like I'd remember that.
Yeah. That's kind of a cheesy tagline to add to a movie title.
Yeah, but he literally was at one point lost in New York.
I mean, he doesn't even know he's in New York when he first gets there. He has to ask Ally Sheedy.
That's funny. What about any data references?
You kind of mentioned the biggest one that I have, and that is the VHS tape of Angels with Filthy Souls. Because I think nowadays a kid would just play something off of YouTube, like on his cell phone, which would be a lot easier to do. Because I always went, how does he have that queued up to that scene to scare Marv?
Right.
When he comes to the back door? Like,
he's just continually watching that movie is what I gather.
Yeah. Because
also he had that in the kitchen where, as when he first watches the movie, it's in their like den.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Good point.
So he's just watching the movie continuously.
Yeah.
And another thing that we realized this year, because, you know, you see a lot of t-shirts and a lot of them say Merry Christmas, Filthy Animal. Mm-hmm. I realized when we rewatched both movies this year that in the original, it's Keep the Change, You Filthy Animal.
Yes.
But in the second one, it's Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal.
Yes.
So technically all those t-shirts that are Home Alone t-shirts are technically Home Alone 2. Some would say the better movie.
I think about, you bought me a ugly Christmas sweater of it, and it has the house.
Yes.
But it says Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make any sense.
Well, maybe it's just generally a Home Alone 2, 1 and 2 type thing, but not 3. I think 3 had French Stewart in it. We won't.
I've never seen it.
I've seen 3.
Oh. I watched a little bit of 4. Do you know who's in 4?
Is that Scarlett Johansson?
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plays one of the siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah. We won't talk about that.
Mine was just a line that they say that I think now as an adult, I'm like, whoa, when they're chasing Kevin into the the attic, and Harry's like, where'd he go? And Marv's like, maybe he committed suicide. And I was like, this is a children's movie.
That got dark.
But it just makes me realize how much like 90s children's movies have jokes like that, that I don't think they would have nowadays.
Yeah.
At all.
At 6 years old, I had no clue what suicide was.
Yeah, and maybe that's why they put it in there, because it's like, it's a joke for parents.
Yeah.
It's going to go over the kid's head. But then maybe you're going to have an uncomfortable conversation with your kid.
Yeah.
Like, what's suicide?
He said he committed suicide. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Oh, he jumped out of a window? Why would someone do that?
Right. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's still such a really good, enjoyable movie that I think I would hope translates to today's youth. Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
I think there would be a lot of questions. I'd be like, what's that phone that he's using? Mm-hmm. And what is that thing playing that movie?
Didn't we show this to or didn't we watch it with our nephews when we had them for a couple weeks?
We might have.
I think we did. Because I think they liked it. I mean, who doesn't like being a kid who can, beat up adults?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
We'll have to ask them.
Yes.
Maybe they'll remember. So, if you want to move on to the awards.
Yes.
And by the way, too, the awards aren't the end of the episode. This is a double bonus-ode. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it will be that long, but
there's going to be more
stuff
we're going to talk about.
So don't change the channel.
Don't change that dial.
Don't click to another podcast on accident, which I do all the time. Sometimes I'm like, if there's ads, I try to fast forward through them sometimes, and I accidentally hit like next in the playlist instead of hitting the little like 30-second button.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
I gotcha. The first award is the Emily Jean Stone Award for Delightful Acting, a.k.a. the Emma Stone Award, a.k.a. the Stony. Whom did you give your award to?
I had to give it to Macaulay Culkin as Kevin because I really don't think I could envision anybody else playing Kevin McAllister.
Good point.
He's adorable, he's witty, and he just pulls it off well. He doesn't... I think that's the reason I think, like, beyond overthinking the plot of how an 8-year-old could really survive a couple days or even best two burglars, I think like he pulls it off well.
He does.
Know? It doesn't make you question it. Whereas I think there'd be some kid actors where I'm like, this kid can't act and he's
kind of in that
shitty.
Right age range where you're like, this is believable. If it was a 6-year-old, you're going, a 6-year-old couldn't take care of himself.
Yeah.
But an 8-year-old and his acting and his line delivery makes you believe it. I gave it to the same person, by the way.
Okay.
I was a huge fan of his growing up. I remember watching Richie Rich and some of the other movies he was in. I always have enjoyed him.
Yeah. I remember watching The Good Son thinking,
oh, this will be fun.
It's Kevin McAllister. No. No, it's not.
No. And My Girl.
Yeah. Oh.
Gets stung by a bee.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't seen that.
Sorry.
30-plus-year-old movie.
Hey, it's been out for 30 years. You should have got on this train at some point.
The next award is the Scene Stealing Award, a.k.a. the Stanley Tucci. Who did you give your award to?
I gave it to the very definition of a cameo, John Candy popping up as Gus Polinski. Gus Polinski and the Kenosha Kickers. Like, that's another one I can quote the scene. I love his scenes that he has with Kate in the back of the rental van where she just kind of abruptly cuts it off and is like, maybe we should stop talking. And he's like, well, you brought it up. But okay. I also read all of his scenes were filmed in one day and they are all 100% improvised.
That makes so much sense.
And I said to you, I go, it makes sense that his scenes are all with Catherine O'Hara, who he's known for years. And she could improvise with him. Right. And they said that he was the only person that was allowed to go off script. And Chris Columbus just allowed him to do it. He was also only paid $414 for this movie.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah, he definitely is one of the best parts. I'm glad you brought him up because I kind of skipped him over him. But I do love that scene when she's just like, maybe we should stop talking. Because he's talking about how it's like traumatized his kid when he left him at a funeral home, and it's just
it's like, oh, all day they're with the dead body. It's like you watch it back and you're just like, and then when I saw that it was improvised, I was like, well, I always thought that. Yeah, he was just making it up.
Yeah, I gave mine to Daniel Stern, Marv, because they're both really good at being their parts, Marv and Harry. He's just like the goofier one and kind of makes them a little bit lovable. Yeah. I think if there was two burglars that were more like Harry, you wouldn't like even root for them at all, but you almost enjoy watching them even when they're not getting hurt. But I think what makes the movie is his screams. Yes. I mean, I know Kevin's scream is a very iconic scream when he puts on the, what is that stuff?
Aftershave.
But when Kevin puts Buzz's tarantula on Marv's face. Yes. It's his scream. It's great. And then when it's crawling on Harry and he's just like, Marv, what are you doing, Marv?
And he's like, don't move.
He's like he's delightful.
He is.
But I would say almost everybody in this cast is delightful.
Agreed.
In the main cast.
Except for Uncle Frank.
Uncle Frank.
He's a dick.
He is a dick. Yeah. But, family man.
I almost was going to give it to Joe Pesci for the Emma Stone Award. Yeah. Because, like you said, just those main three, so good. I can't picture it with anybody else. I know I saw that they considered De Niro for Marv, and they actually hired somebody else to play considered De Niro for Harry.
Yes.
And they hired somebody else for Marv because Daniel Stern had to drop out.
Right.
And Christopher Columbus fired the guy after 2 days.
Oh, damn.
And I was just like, no, we'll bring back Stern because he's not working.
Right. Oh, yeah. It would be weird. I always think of like the alternate universes out there that have movies with different people. And I'm just like, in some cases, it probably worked out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Not in Home Alone.
We talked about it with Back to the Future. There is no way I can see Eric Stoltz playing that role.
Yeah, that's true.
They filmed a lot of the movie with him playing it.
So also, guys, we did decide, I know we were kind of spitballing it, but we did decide to get rid of the Brendan Fraser Award. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
But just because we were having a hard time picking somebody in these Bonisodes, it's movies that we love.
Yeah.
And really have a hard time finding lots of flaws that I just really had a hard time picking somebody that made the movie worse.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, a lot of times when we watch the Bonisodes, sometimes we don't even have our computers open taking notes. We're just enjoying watching it for the 100th time.
Right. And maybe in the future, if we do hit a movie for Bonisode and I was like, I fucking hate that person, I realized maybe we'll add it back in for, you know.
Yeah.
We'll do it month by month.
Okay. But for the most part, it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the Bonisode, guys, but we're not done.
Nah.
We got to talk about 2020 highlights and not the shitty year, but in media, movies, TV shows, and also we were going to talk a little bit about the podcast and what everybody liked. Mm-hmm. We recently had a contest. It just ended. Everybody that entered the contest filled out a survey and told us some stuff about the podcast that they liked or they didn't like. And we also asked what their favorite episodes were. And we got some interesting answers back. Mm-hmm. Do you want to read a couple?
Yes. Paul wrote in his 2 favorite episodes were Biodome and Wayne's World. And he actually broke his VHS tape trying to play Wayne's World.
Yeah, I like that story.
Yeah.
JP Duty said that all of the Screen episodes he enjoys, which they're some of our favorites too. I think horror movies in general are kind of fun ones to do for the podcast.
I would say specifically those 3, and we actually then watched the 4th one just for funsies, and that was a fun rewatch.
Yeah.
If it would have been within the 10-year requirement for a movie we should have did.
So many Well Hello There's.
Oh my. I was like, there would have been 30. So many. We did have a couple of votes for last year's Christmas present, Die Hard.
Yeah, that's true.
Which, the other day we watched a video on YouTube that broke down whether or not Die Hard was a Christmas movie. And the way they did it was they compared the Christmas elements, whether it be carols or Christmas trees, to the elements that were in Home Alone.
Yeah.
And when you looked at it like that, Die Hard is like twice the Christmas movie as Home Alone.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, what's the company's name that makes Honest Trailers? Because it was theirs.
Oh, man.
I can't remember. You guys know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they make
the people that make Honest Trailers. They did it, and it was an interesting watch. Mm-hmm. And it is kind of funny that there actually are more references to Christmas in Die Hard.
Yeah.
So, Alicia said A League of Their Own, which I enjoyed that movie. I mean, that's just a good movie.
Yeah, that was a good movie, and a
it's
fun
so
episode
rare
to make, too.
Yeah. It's so rare when we watch just like a really good movie, and it actually makes it harder to do the episodes, I think, in a way.
Yeah, you're going, what was the worst part of this really good movie? Who was the worst actor?
If there wasn't more movie, I guess. I don't know.
This was written in by I'm good. He says his favorite episode is the future Top Gun episode. One day, buddy.
Yeah.
One day.
Friend of the pod.
Yes.
I'm good.
Yes.
And then Christy said Jawbreaker, and she said it was like one of the episodes that she realized how much she liked listening to us, so we appreciate it, Christy.
Yeah, thank you.
I like that episode.
I liked that episode. I liked the movie, and that was so early in our podcast.
It really was.
Yeah.
And I remember like back in the day, that was one of our top episodes, like listen-wise. And I was just like, what's going on? Why aren't people listening to us? What is happening? What was your favorite?
My favorite was Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yes.
It is a terrible movie, but it was so much fun to rewatch it. And then I would say it was even more fun to just make fun of it. And it was, like, it's not a good movie. There's a lot of famous people in it.
Yeah.
It was just a good time.
I tried to keep it in 2020. I put Three Ninjas.
Okay.
Because it wasn't a great movie.
No.
And it kind of ruined my childhood that it wasn't great. And I know it ruined yours.
It really did.
Yeah.
I will say, if I was picking one from this year, I loved the collection of horror movies we did.
Yeah.
Specifically, the Scream 3 episode was so much fun. Another one. Just so many well hello there's and just a fun movie to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then another question we answered on our Ruiners Club survey was their favorite Bonisode.
Mm-hmm.
And we did just a poll. And it was very even up until the last couple days. It looks like Clueless won by a very small margin.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, except for nobody voted for Pirates Caribbean and nobody voted for Hocus Pocus. So
I'm more surprised nobody voted for Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody loves that movie.
I will say the one I prefer was our first one, Shaun of the Dead.
I put that too.
Yeah.
It's just a great movie.
It really is.
All the movies we do for our bonusodes we love so much, but it definitely was one of my favorites to do.
For sure.
So now we're going to move on to some of the Instagram questions we asked this past week about 2020 film and TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite 2020 films? Some people said some things.
The PA show said Mulan, which I still have not seen.
But it's on Disney Plus now.
Yes.
We got to watch it.
I was going to say, it's up there for free. I'm totally going to watch it.
I will say this one was hard for us because we didn't watch a lot of movies this year, because we usually would make a point to go to the movie theater, especially with any big releases with our friends. And obviously 2020 COVID, it's made it really hard to do that.
Yeah.
And we personally don't feel comfortable doing it quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
So this is probably the one year I have seen the least amount of movies.
It's hands down. I think back to even we had bought tickets to go see No Time to Die.
Yes.
And then they kept moving it and then just outright canceled it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know that we saw a true new release in the 2020 year in theaters.
I feel like we saw something earlier in the year.
It's possible.
Like February? I don't know. What are movies? What is this year? What's time? But back to the Instagram answers.
The PA show CLK264 and Prime from Prime Nostalgia Podcast all said Bad Boys for Life.
Again, another movie I want to watch.
I want to watch it, and I'm thinking Bad Boys 1 and 2 would be prime choices for the podcast.
Yes, very true.
Sure.
I think, obviously, because it's still Christmas, but at the beginning of New Year, when we're done with all of our holiday watching, we'll have to start watching some 2020 movies.
Yeah, because I totally want to see Tenet, which a couple people said that was one of their movies, and I cannot wait to watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know 88 Miles Per Hour podcast, most likely Santos, said Bill and Ted Face the Music. Again.
Another one we want to watch.
This category is going real great. Black is King, 3 Films Pod. I did watch a majority of that, and then I had to stop watching it, and then I haven't gone back to it. But It's very beautifully shot, of course.
I was going to say.
Beyonce.
Yeah. Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always, which was submitted by Screen Vomit.
Is it the one with Landry? There's a movie. It was on Netflix. I feel like whoever put this is like, yes. They don't know who Landry is.
Landry is...
What's his name?
Jesse Plemons.
Okay.
Jesse
we
Plemons.
do this thing where they're always going to be named to the person the character we first saw them as.
Yes.
And yeah, Lance from Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. We still call Taylor Kitsch. It's always Tim Riggins.
I mean, it's all Friday Night Lights people. J Duty 2 put Palm Springs, which, hey, that's one of the movies we watched.
Exactly. I was like, I have 3 movies that I could come up with, and that was one of them.
What were your 3 movies?
Palm Springs, which, if you guys don't know what that is, that has Andy Samberg and Christina Milioti.
Yeah,
I believe is her
yeah,
name.
that's her name.
It was kind of a Groundhog-y Day movie.
Loved it, yeah.
Yeah, really good. Another one made me cry was Onward
Yeah,
with
okay.
Tom Holland and Chris Pratt. And it was just cute when he realizes all the stuff that his brother taught him. And then lastly, Happiest Season.
Yes.
The movie that made me root for Kristen Stewart.
Yeah. You know, there was one more that we watched during Halloween was Invisible Man
Oh, yeah.
with,
Elizabeth Moss.
yeah, that came out this year. It came out in like March.
Oh, man.
So
That movie was...
it was
fucking
crazy.
trippy.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Did we skip? We didn't skip anybody. Okay. The next question we asked everybody on Instagram was favorite new show in 2020. We had some great answers. 88 Miles Per Hour podcast put Schitt's Creek, which
Same.
is not new to 2020, but it was new to them.
And new to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Such a delightful TV show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
The Big Dumb Movie Podcast submitted the Great British Bake Off, which we have been obsessed with for probably 5 years now, and they just wrapped up their most recent season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
J Duty 2 put Queen's Gambit.
You do love you some Queen's Gambit.
It was very pretty.
Yeah. It's a good show.
It was a good show, yeah.
Yeah, good show. Scream Vomit submitted On Becoming a God in Central Florida, which there's someone really famous on that, and I cannot remember.
Kirsten Dunst.
There you go.
And
Jesse Plemons' wife.
Yes. it all comes
It all comes back.
I didn't want to watch that.
Yeah.
But I don't have Showtime.
Mm-hmm.
And by I mean we don't have Showtime.
No.
You have Showtime. I don't have Showtime.
I don't have it. You have it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What was your pick for a favorite new show?
I did 3, and I totally agree with 88 Miles Per Hour on Schitt's Creek. That would be one of them. I've become such a big fan of Dan Levy. He is amazing, and that show is so well done and well written, and he's just funny. One of the more recent ones we watched was Ted Lasso.
Yes, that's my pick.
It is a TV show that is based around a 5-minute clip of comedy that NBC Sports created. Should not be that good.
Yeah.
And it has so much heart.
Yes.
Like, he's such a good person.
Yeah. It makes you want to be a better person.
Yeah.
I think.
He's so positive, too.
Yeah.
So that's on Apple TV. It's Jason Sudeikis. If you guys don't know, definitely check out the YouTube clip that they made of it. It's funny. My last of the 3, because I think it got everybody through quarantine, Tiger King.
Oh, you would.
It's just mind-boggling. The majority of them are terrible people, but there's some good people on that, too. It was a good show.
It was something that I feel like we needed.
Yeah.
As a society. But I just love any documentaries. I know we watched like I'll Be Gone in the Dark.
Yes.
It was really, really good if you're into true crime. My other pick was another show that technically didn't come out in 2020, but I discovered it in 2020 was Euphoria.
Oh, yeah.
The acting is great.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing I love about the show so much is that there's a lot of complex female characters that are very different from each other, and just the acting's really good. Zendaya's wonderful.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's a very good show. And they just put out a Bonisode a couple weeks ago, and there'll be another one coming out in January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I did want to give an honorable mention. It's another one that came out, I believe, in 2019, if I'm correct, and that was Central Park.
Yes.
We just finished it, but the songs are amazing, and it's just a really fun show.
Yeah, Titus Burgess.
Yes, Titus Burgess and Kristen Bell. And Leslie Odom Jr.
Yes.
So good on that show, too.
Catherine
My favorite
Hahn.
part is Stanley Tucci, the namesake of our award.
He plays the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Great show.
Yes.
So, the last question we had, which I apologize because I put it out, was that a movie that never got released in 2020 that you were looking forward to.
Yes.
So I put that out on Instagram, and now Instagram is being dumb, and I can't access the answers that I knew there were. We had a couple answers. I should have saved them then or wrote them down, and I didn't, because usually you can go back to your archives and look at the answers people put. But I don't know where they are. I don't know what's going on.
Fucking Instagram.
They just did a couple updates, so I don't know if that has something to do with it. But I know some people said like Mulan and Black Widow and James Bond, obviously some bigger movies. So I apologize that I couldn't say your answers.
I do remember the one Santos submitted because he would drive by the billboard.
Oh yeah.
And it was like taunting him that it was coming out. I think it was A Quiet Place too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about how he, for a while, it said it was coming in March, and even after that date had passed.
Still up there.
Yeah.
For me, I was really looking forward to No Time to Die and Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman's coming out later this week.
Yeah.
So we'll get to watch it.
That's true.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to Black Widow.
Yes.
And I was looking forward to, we were supposed to be getting another Marvel movie in November.
Yeah. Eternals.
Oh, yes. The Internals.
Yes.
I don't know why I couldn't remember that. I kept wanting to say The Inhumans, which was a very short-lived TV show.
Yeah. Also has Angelina Jolie and Richard Madden.
Oh, yes.
Going to be in that with them as well. So,
Richard Madden.
Which they have pushed for a full year. November of 2021 it should be out.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Hey, at least we're getting WandaVision in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So, that was all of the questions we answered. We do want to thank you for being a ruiner, if you are a ruiner. And also thank everybody that entered our $25 Target giveaway. And the ones that really gave us like thoughtful, awesome answers. You guys literally made me cry a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But you guys are amazing. I'm so glad we have this little community of people that like listening to us talk about movies. It's weird.
It's crazy. It really is.
It is. Is there anything else we want to talk about?
We do have a new employee.
Oh, yes. So we do have a new employee. We added to the Ruining Our Childhood payroll.
Yes.
She's our sound gal.
It's Quinn the Wonder Dog.
It's Quinn.
Quinn.
Yeah. You've slightly heard her maybe?
Yeah. Tapping around. So if the audio quality goes down a little bit, bear with her.
Yeah.
Okay. She's still learning her
new.
job.
She's also might be partially deaf because she is 13 years old.
We're pretty sure she's deaf, unfortunately, guys.
But she's the sweetest puppy, and I'm going to put a picture of her, if she allows me, on Instagram.
Someone did specifically write in an answer of things they would like, and they said more of the other dogs.
It was your brother.
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but someone said that.
By the way, who put a fake email that I didn't get.
Then you realized it was a cheap shot at me.
Yes.
Yep.
So, thank you.
Yep.
All right. Well.
Thank you for listening, guys. Have a good holiday. Enjoy time with your family if you can, or, talk to them through Zoom, and just stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe. And here's to a better year.
Yes.
In 2021.
Yes.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.